Hi, I'm Larry Stone of Fat Larry Customs. Welcome to our upholstery channel. We're trying to share some of the tips and ideas and things that we're learning as we go about upholstery and how to do things. Those who want to do it themselves or are trying to learn the upholstery trade as we are. So today we're going to learn how to do seatbelt holes in seats for dune buggies, razors, sandrails, things like that. Today we're working on a really simple project that's been a real thorn in our side. We're redoing some seats for a dune buggy, and one of the problems that we were having is trying to figure out how to do the pockets where the seat belts come through. And we tried several different ways to make it work, and none of them looked really good unless you do some fluffy upholstery that doesn't look good and doesn't work well. It just doesn't look right. We're actually using a Seatbelt canvas material that will hold up really well. It's easy to clean. You can even hose it off. You can just take an air hose and blow off the sand and stuff if that's what you're doing. So that's what we're going to go through really quick here. So we're using 3/4 inch foam, and so we just take our foam and our Seatbelt material, and we're going to glue that together. And then we're going to take our material and that we're going to use to wrap the edges in. And one of the things we want to do is just to make it so that it's straight. We're going to mark an edge on here. A 1/2 inch in on each side. Then we're going to fold this in. Normally I wouldn't use a Sharpie to do this. I'd use something else, but I wanted you to be able to see the lines and how we're doing it. So we're just going to fold it right on that line. Now we're going to take this over to the sewing machine and sew this up real quick. All right, so I'm just going to sew this with a 1/4 inch right on the edge of there. And then again on this side, we'll take that. All right, so then we just got it all seamed together.
It's going.
All right, the next thing we're going to do is we got our piece of fabric that we've sewn, that we've glued to our foam, and then we just measure this. Typically, the seatbelt opening is about 3.5 inches. This is just over about 4¼ inches. So what we're going to do is wherever we want that pocket to appear, I just take and draw my line right there. Now this piece that I made, I just want to make a straight cut right down the middle, and that's one of the reasons I love my great big scissors, because it makes it so easy. And then I can take those two pieces and put them right there. Now I'm going to put them backwards on here so that we can roll that center. All right, so we're going to go back to the sewing machine. All right, so what we're going to do is that line that we had, we're just going to center that piece right on there upside down, and we're going to sew that with a 1/4 inch, which I use right against the edge of that foot there. As you can hear that sewing machine, this fabric is very thick. It's a canvas fabric. So, but I like it because it's waterproof, and it's just not going to wear out for a long time for what they're using it for. All right, and then the next piece, I just butt it right up against it and make sure that's centered in the same spot. And do the same thing on the other side. Get rid of all of our straggler strings. And then let's go back over. That's how it looks like when you got it all sewn up. All right. So as you can see, our black line was right down the middle of here. And we got these things, for some reason, I got the wrong end. So this one's a little bit off, but you can see. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this edge to edge right here so we can roll this in. So I take, on this fabric, I want to use a good new razor blade. And you can use a pair of scissors or something else, but you want to be sure that you don't cut it too far past the edge. Okay, now once you got your hole in there, you take your top and you roll it in. And then you take your other top and you roll it in. And so if these would have been the same size, they would have been nice and even and symmetrical. I got this edge on this one is a little wider than the other side as well. So I should have turned it around and done it the other way so that I made sure my feet on there were the same size on each side. Okay, so on this side here, you got your flaps here. And there's a couple of ways to do this. If you wanted to, you can sew this on the top and sew it on the edges, which I've done and I've tried. But I don't like the looks of it because it's just more sewing than I have to do. And so I came up with another way to do it, using contact cement. So this cement works good for vinyl, it works good on foam, and it works really good on leather. And that's one of my online video friends showed me this glue doing leather work, and I found it's very useful for a lot of other things. And so it is a contact cement, so I'll put it on there and I'll give it a minute or two to let it dry and tack up. It doesn't take a lot, but I know that on this canvas material that I'm using, it works real well. So normally we will let this wait for 5 or 6 minutes, but we're going to pretend and lay that out. And then if you want, you can either leave that or you can leave it. But notice how we have a nice seam there, and so your seatbelt will slip right through there, and it's got plenty of room without looking gaudy or I think compared to that, it looks great. All right, so this is the original one that I was talking about. Notice how big it is, and they just wrapped it over, and it's just kind of bulky and nasty and leaves this great big hole. I like how this thing is nice and tight and slim. It'll hold the seatbelt in place so it doesn't fall back under the seat or fall out. I think it looks good, it's functional, and it's real easy to do. So it's going to save you a lot of time trying to do something like this that just doesn't work well and doesn't work right. Well, I'm Larry Stone, and this is Fat Larry's Customs, where fat is not a size, it's an attitude. Share us, like us, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your feedback.